Hello everyone and welcome. Thank you for coming out and painting with us today. Today we are painting Warhol Hands. So, who's Warhol, you might ask? Andy Warhol is a famous artist, most known for his Campbell's soup cans. Here's a little picture of him. He was most famous in the 1960s and was part of the pop art movement. He often used bold colors, so nice bright colors, and he liked to repeat images. So being inspired by his work, today we are going to use our handprint. So we're going to replicate an image, just like our Marilyn Monroe over here. And we're going to use nice bright colors. But first, let's make sure we have all of our supplies. First, we need some paints. So this is my little palette of paint. You guys probably have something a little bit cooler. So I have all my colors on my little palette of paint. I have some brushes. I have a large brush. I have a medium brush. And I have a small brush, little baby brush there. We're going to find our biggest brush first. And we're going to start with that one. We'll also need something to dry off our brushes and a little cup of water to wash our brushes. So again, let's find our biggest brush and we're going to find our water cup and we're going to give it a little dip in the water, get things flowing, and we're going to tap on the paper so it's not all drippy. So kind of tap on the paper, take off that extra water on your brush. We're going to find our little handprints and we're going to find our backgrounds. And we're going to do our backgrounds first. Now these colors can be any different colors that you like. So we're going to start on this one. Maybe choose your favorite color. Favorite color is a good place to start. I'm going to choose blue. So I'm going to take my big brush. I'm going to hold my brush nice and tall. Kind of hold it kind of near the top of that metal part. That gives you a little bit more control of your brush. Hold it nice and tall, like you're holding a pencil, like you're writing your name. And we're going to get a little bit of our first color. I'm going to do blue, but yours might be a different color. We're going to use that color just by itself. Let's find a bigger space. So let's start maybe in that corner. And we're going to paint around our handprint. So let's fill in our bigger spaces first, because those are a little easier to fill in. Take it nice and slow. There's no rush. We have plenty of time. Smooth out your paint. If you see any globs or big bumps of paint, let's smooth them out. You get all of our biggest spaces first. Now, a little trick to start getting a little closer in the middle. I'm going to bring this a little bit closer. So our big brush, it's kind of a chunky brush, right? So that helps when you're filling in bigger spaces, but we have a lot of little spaces too. So instead of a flat brush, we're going to turn it, use that thin part of the brush, that little edge, and that's going to help us get in between the fingers. Now don't worry too much if you get a little bit on the line, or even if you get a little bit inside a finger, because we're going to paint right over top and it won't matter too much. Take it nice and slow. The slower you go, the more control you have on your brush. The more you can control where it's going and how it's going there. Smooth out your paint. Take it nice and slow. Keep filling it in. Whenever it gets a little scratchy, keep grabbing a little bit more paint on your brush. Take it a little slower around those lines. And don't worry too much if you get a little bit inside a finger. Taking it right up to the edge, right up to the line, and going around all my fingers. Start thinking about what your next color might be. I'm going to do a purple next, because purple's my next favorite color. Take your time, guys. If at any point you need to pause the video, feel free to put it on pause for just a little bit as you fill in these little steps. I paint a little bit faster. But that's just because I paint a lot. While we have this color on our brush, we're also going to wrap it around and we're going to paint our little side edge to match. Just where this first color is, I'll leave this part for this color and I'll wrap that around. I'm going to get the top edge, wherever this little square is. Once you have your first color filled in, we're going to keep using our big brush. So let's give it a good scrub on the bottom of our cup, all the way down, scrub, 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 drag on the edge, take off that extra water, and then we're going to press our brush on the paper towel, take off all that extra water, dry it off really well. And we're going to fill in this next color. So I'm going to do a purple next. So I have a nice clean brush. I'm going to go into my purple next, just by itself. And again, you can definitely choose a different color if you want. And just like we did with the blue, we're going to start with our bigger areas. And then we'll go to our smaller areas. Just like we did with the blue, we're going to wrap it around, and right where we have this little square of purple, I'm going to wrap it around, and then I'm going to paint it to match. Let's wash off our brush, dry off our brush. I gave it a really good scrub, and I dried it off really, really well. What color do you want to make this one next? I made mine green, but you can do a different color. I'm going to find my green just by itself. I'm going to grab a little green, and let's fill in this background next. Now let's get the side edges. We're going to get this side edge. And this bottom one. Whenever you have all of that one filled in, you have your little side edge. Let's go ahead and wash off our brush, dry off our brush. And let's fill in our last little square. I did a red, but again, you can choose a different color. I'm gonna find some red just by itself. And just like before, start with your bigger spaces and then go to your smaller ones. Nice long brush strokes. And again, we're going to fill in our side edges. So this is going to be the last of our side edges. Double check. Make sure you have all your side edges covered. Beautiful, guys. So now that all of our backgrounds are filled in, we're going to be all done with our big brush. So let's put our big brush in our water cup, let it hang out there. And let's pick up our medium brush. So with our medium brush, we're going to fill in our hands. And for each of these hand colors, we're going to mix the color with some white paint. So this is going to cover up any little pieces that might be peeking out of a line or inside a line, and that white will cover it right up. Again, you're welcome to do any different colors mixed with white that you'd like, but I did kind of the crisscross. So right here I have blue, and right here I have red, right? So I'm going to do a light red on this one. So red mixed with white, and then I'll do a light blue on this one. So blue mixed with white. Same with this one. I have purple and green. So I'm going to mix green and white and purple and white. So let's start with this one since our background is a little bit drier on this one since we started there. So, and again, don't have to do this color if you don't want to, but I'm going to mix up white and red. So on my palette, I'm going to get a little scoop of white and put that next to the color that I want to do. And then I'm going to get a little bit of my color, in this case red, and then I'm going to do little mixes. And we're going to mix up color that we like. If you want to make yours a little lighter, a little darker than mine, that's definitely okay. Whenever you have a color that you like, color looks about there, kind of a pinky color. I'm going to fill in my hand first. Take it slow on those edges, and then you can go a little faster in the middle. Cover up all that canvas peeking through. And then we're going to fill in our fingers. Now I'm going to keep using my medium brush for this, but kind of how we did when we went in between the fingers. Instead of a flat brush, you can turn it and use the thin part of the brush. And that will help do little brush strokes inside those little fingers. And don't worry too much if you get a little bit on the outside, that's okay. But just take it slow. I'm going to fill in all of our fingers. Great guys, we have our very first hand. Let's let that dry. And then we're gonna mix up our next hand. So this one, I'm gonna do green and white. So I'm gonna get a little scoop of white, put that next to my green, get a little green, mix it into my white. And I'll do little mixes, little green at a time. Little white into the green until I get a lighter green that I like. I like that one. It's like a minty green. I'm going to take my little brush and we're going to start in the middle of the hand. Once we have the center of the hand, we can fill in our fingers. So whenever you are ready, we're going to wash off our brush, dry off our brush really well, and we're going to fill in this next little hand. So I'm going to do a light purple. Just like before, we're going to get a little scoop of white, put it next to our purple, get a good scoop of purple, and mix it into our white to make a light purple. And do little mixes. And we're going to fill in the center of our hand. Once you have the center of your hand, fingers. So let's wash off our brush, dry off our brush. Our last little hand, I'm going to do a light blue. So, little scoop of white onto the blue or next to the blue, and mix it in to the blue to make a light blue. And let's fill in the center of the hand. And then the fingers. Beautiful. So we have all of our canvas covered now. We have all of our backgrounds, all of our beautiful bright little handprints, and we get into our last little details here. So we're going to be all done with our medium brush. So we can put our little medium brush in our water cup and let it hang out there. And we're going to find our smallest little detail brush. With my smallest little detail brush, I'm going to add a few little highlights. And that just gives it a little bit of sparkle. Notice how I put all those highlights just along one side. Like the light is shining from this way onto the hand. So let's find our little brush. And we're going to use just a little bit of white paint. Just a little bit is all you need. I'm going to bring this a little bit closer so you can see. So on my fingers, I'm going to sweep a little bit along the edge. It doesn't have to be like an outline, so it can be a little further in to your finger, but still along kind of that Sharpie line. Do a little on top of the thumb. And then I'm going to do a little bit along the edge of my hand, follow it a little further into the hand, kind of let the paint trail off, run out, get a little scratchy as you go. It just gives it a nice little pop. So let's do that with our next hand. We're going to get a little bit more white paint, same little small brush. I'm going to sweep a little bit on the same side, on top of my green, on top of this hand color, and then a little on the edge, on top of the green, following the edge. Scratch it along. And then same on these two as well. Let's do this one next. A little bit of white. Very nice, guys. So our last little step, we need a little artist signature. So we can use our tiny little brush. Let's give it a little rinse in our water cup. And let's dry it off on our paper towel. And I'm gonna get a little bit of black paint. And the artsy place to put your name is the right hand kind of bottom corner. You can put your initials, so the first letter of your first and last name. That's usually what I do. Or you can write your whole name or just your first name. I'm going to put my initials. So I'm going to put an A and an R for my artist signature in the corner there. If you want, you can put like the date, because we're celebrating today, so you can remember our creations on this day. And we are all done. Congratulations, guys. These are beautiful. So everyone give yourselves a hand. Yay! Again, thank you so much for painting. Enjoy the rest of your party. Bye, guys.